If I ask you to write a program to print out hello world 5 times, can you do it? Almost all of you said you can. So let's do that. To write a statement to print out hello world 5 times, instead of doing it 5 times, you can use a for loop to have one statement, and then it will execute and print it 5 times. And that's called a for loop. And you will write the for loop header. That's the keyword for, lowercase. If you have any questions about your test, now we will do that after I do this. Okay, so for, and then we always have a variable to keep track of how many times we have done this. So the variable name can be, it should be meaningful, but you can name it anything. So I will just name it as count. Okay. So we count from 0. This variable always starts from 0. And in, that's a keyword. Okay, that's a reserved word. And here is a function named range, right? So in range, and then because it's a function, it has parentheses. In the parentheses is how many times you want to do it. So if we want to do it 5 times, we put 5 there. And remember this colon. This is called the for loop header, right? The for loop header. And then you press enter, and it should be indented. Whatever you want to do in the loop body, that is whatever you want to repeatedly execute, that is placed in the loop body. And so in the loop body should be indented and aligned, okay? So we will print hello world, right? Okay, that's it. That's it. This will run 5 times. And so this count, remember, it starts from 0. Okay, so count always starts, this variable, no matter what it is, it always starts at 0. And this is the number of times it runs. That's the end. When count reaches 5, it will stop. So that's the number of times. It starts at 0, and so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. This 5 is not included. Okay. So that's how you write this loop, right? This for loop. And this is one way. Another way is for, okay, you can do it like this also. In range, you can specify a starting point. And you can say, I want to start at 5, okay? And I want to end at 10. So this loop will go from count will be initialized to 5. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, that's 5 times. And so it's equivalent to the previous loop, but its starting point is different. Okay, that's what we learned last time, if you remember, right? Okay, so it's still 5 times. However, the value of count is different. So if I do this, and if I print out count, so I will say string count, right? Plus. So if I do this, you will see it starts at 5. Count is 5, and then 6, 7, 8, 9, and 9. Okay, so if I do, if I don't start at 5, oh, I cannot modify it. If I don't start at 5, then it will start at 0, right? Count will start at 0. Oh, I forgot this part. So not good. Let's do this. Okay, if I don't start at 5, if I only have one argument, then it will be, it will automatically start at 0. So that's the difference. Okay, any questions? Okay, now, so this is the 2 different types of arguments, right? Two different versions of the range function. Once again, this is a function, everybody. Okay, behind the range, there is code that will accomplish whatever this wants to do. So these are called arguments. Here we have two. One is the beginning, one is the ending exclusive. The beginning is inclusive. Here we have one, that's the ending exclusive. Okay, and there is another way to do this. There is another loop. It's like this. Okay. I cannot go up, right? Okay. Well, this okay, go up.
Dr.
Yeah.
Jing,
Yes.
when I do mine the 4 count in range 5, comma 10, it does all 10.
Okay. Do you want to show your program?
I can.
Okay, let's do
Where
that.
do you start? Where does it start?
It says I can't share at the moment. You have to
share. I will stop.
Oh, okay.
So if you look at you have 3 for loops, right? And when you run this program, what I did, everybody, I did it in the shell. What you did is you did it, Sarah, in the IDLE. So when you run, all 3 loops will run. So it will run the first one. It will print out hello world 5 times if you look at your code, your output 5 times. And then it will print out hello world from 5 to 10. And that is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? And that's
no, it print 10 of them here.
Yeah, but the first 5 is from your first loop.
Correct.
The second 5 is from your second loop. The third 5, that starts from 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's from your third loop. Does that make sense?
But in yours, it only prints 5 of these hello worlds.
But you see, mine is in the shell. Yours is in the IDLE. So
okay.
for your work, okay, for yours,
type in the shell.
All of them, whenever you run, all 3 loops are running. So it runs the first one that will, I cannot highlight in yours, in your program, okay? So when you when it runs, the first for loop will run. That will print out the first 5 hello world. Sarah, do you think you can highlight that? It prints out the first 5.
Oh,
not there. The last one.
Oh.
Yeah, the
Are you
first
talking about these here?
The first 5. Yes. Exactly. That's from the first loop. If you look at your code, okay, and then it will run the second loop. That
I see what you mean.
So let's highlight that, Sarah. The second set. Yes, that is from the second loop, and then the third loop will run. It will print out the third set. That's why you have all that. Okay.
I forgot that print thing y'all taught me about last time.
No, that's okay. But
so it breaks it.
Yeah, that way. Yeah, let's run it again, and you will see why you have that, right? Okay, let's run. So those are the 3 sets. Once again, because you have 3 in one file, when you run, this whole file will run. So all 3 will run. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. So that's this, everybody. Now, if you look at my screen, why did mine not do that? Because I'm using the shell. So every time I have a chunk of code, it will run immediately. That is the difference, right? If you use the IDLE, you can write a whole page of code, and then when you run, it will run. But with the shell, it's interactive. That means if I do something, the system will do something. So if I write a piece of code here, the system will immediately run, unlike the IDLE. That's the difference. Any other questions, everybody? Okay, so we don't care. You already know, right? Okay, so no, we should care. Why does it? say, oh, because the 4, you see, I may have a little space there, so it doesn't run. I put a space, and this one won't run also somehow. Okay. Oh, it doesn't. Okay, so somehow, okay, there is a space there, that's why. So this will run this, you already saw this, right? This will go from 0 to 5. Well, there is another way of doing this, and that is you can start from 5, you can start from 1, and let me do this, and you go to 10, and then you can say, you can specify, you can have 3 arguments. The third argument can be a step, that the interval. So if I say 2, this will go from 1 to 3 to 5, 7, 9. Okay, that is what the function of this variable is. That means it gives you the interval, the steps. So if you look at these different loops, okay, this has only 1 argument, that's the number of times to run. And then this has 2 arguments, that's where to start and where to end. And this has 3 arguments, the starting point, the ending point, which is exclusive, and this is the interval. So let's run this one. Okay, so you will see that this is 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, right? So you have 3 different ways of doing this. Does that make sense, everybody? Do you understand it? Or you want to try it? Okay, so this is one. Another one is it can also go down. If I start from 10 and go to 1 and then negative, it will go down from 10 to 8 to 6 to 4 to 2. So this is negative, and your beginning number is larger than the ending number, and you go down. So it's you put a negative number. Basically, you are saying minus, right? So that's what the value of count is. Any questions? Yeah, go ahead.
So if we were to go downward, would we have to use a -1?
Not just 1, just the negative number. It depends on what your interval is.
No, if the second number was greater than the, I mean, if the second number was less than the first number, would we have to use a negative number for the third one?
Yes, because if you continue to go up, you will never reach the second number. Then it will be infinite. It will never end, right?
Okay, that answers my question.
Yes. So if you think about it, if you do this and then you do a negative number, everybody, look at this. This is less, this is greater. So you're saying from 1 to 10, -2. And so it will -2 from 1 and then continue to -2. It will never reach. It doesn't even, this is, I think this is a protection mechanism in Python. It doesn't run at all. Oh, so it doesn't give you an endless loop. That's good. It doesn't run because this condition doesn't work. You are saying from 1 to 10 -1 and 1 -2, -2 will never structure is not working. It's a little bit different from other languages, but at least it doesn't give you an endless loop. It already knows this loop will never end, so it doesn't run at all. Omkar, does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. Any other questions, everybody? No? This is actually part of what, okay, it's here. If you look, right here. Okay, so this is another loop that I was discussing. Okay, So that's the loop. Do you have any questions, everybody? No? Okay. Now, this is augmented assignment, also called shorthand compound assignment operator. Okay, let's look at this part. The assignment symbol can be combined with arithmetic and concatenation operators to provide augmented assignment operations. So, for example, a variable name, is equal to 17, and s equals to high. When you do a plus equal to 3, it will add 3 to a. This is equivalent to this. Look at this, right? It's equivalent to this. So, and this, just look at these. You can read it, right? Look at that. Do you understand it, everybody? So if we come here and I say count is equal to 10, okay. And then I can do count equal to count plus 10, that will give you 20, right? So if you print out, we don't have to print. If you do count, it will give you 20. You can also simply say count plus equal. Okay, that's the shorthand to 10. Now, because count is 20, you add 10 to it.
That'll give us 30.
I'm sorry?
That will give us 30.
Yes, that's correct. Okay, that's correct. So you do count. That gives you 30. That's what this is. So these two, this statement and this statement, syntax-wise, they're not syntax-wise, logic-wise, right? Logically, they are the same. Only syntax is different. So you can do this. This means count divided by 10 and assign it to count again. So count now will be what? What do you think count is?
3.
3, yes. Okay, count will be 3, right? Okay. So that's what that is. This is a shorthand expression, not expression, shorthand assignment operator. So that you, because in your program, when you start programming, you will find that you write this, these statements often, and it's too much to even repeat this one variable. Because if you do it so many times, you have to repeat that variable so many times. Instead, you can just do this. This is very much simpler than the previous statement. Okay, that's the sole purpose. And you have to remember this. You have to know this. And look at this, right? S plus equal to there is simply the same as S is equal to S plus there. They're the same. And make sure you know this operator comes first and then the equal sign, the assignment operator. Okay, any questions, everybody? Okay, so now logic errors. Okay, off by one error. Off by one error is called this type of error is simply saying you are off just by one, either one too many or one too few. So if you look at this code, okay, if you look at this code, for count in range 1 and 4. So this is the beginning number, it's included. This is the ending number, it's excluded. So it actually just go through the loop 3 times. It starts from 1, 2, 3. And that's a mistake beginning students can easily make, because they think, oh, if I do this from 1 to 4, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, that's 4 times. But actually, always remember, this second one is not included, okay? It stops 1 before that. So it actually is just 3 times. Any questions, everybody? This is not a syntax error. This is a logic error. If you intend to count from 1 through 4, and you do this, that would be wrong, right? That gives you 1, 2, 3, not 1, 2, 4. So that's called a logic error, not a syntax error. Any questions, everybody? No? For this part, okay, this is trying to tell you that range returns a list. Okay, range, remember, what is range? Range is a function, right? Range is a function. So range will give, it performs its duty and it will give you back something. And what does it give you back? It gives you back a list. A list simply is something like this. We call this a list. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3. This is a list, and it has this square brackets around it. That's a list. Okay, so so you are using this as the argument for list, and because range returns a list, so it gives you 0, 1, 2, 3. And for this one, it gives you 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. This might not be very easy to understand, but we are not really using it right now that much. You just know that range returns a list, and this is a list. Okay. And so strings are also sequences of characters. Okay. Values in a sequence can be visited with a for loop. The reason is a list is a sequence of values. A list is a sequence of values. You look at this. This is a sequence of int, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So a list is a sequence of values, and strings are also sequence of characters. So values in the sequence can be visited with a for loop. That means you can navigate through the values of a sequence using a for loop. Okay, and notice that you do not need to use the range function here because a string is already a sequence. So a list is a sequence, right? A range returns you a sequence, but string is already a sequence. So you do not need the range function. Does that make sense, everybody? Let me repeat that. Range returns you a sequence of values. But a string is already a sequence of values. So you do not need to use the range function. And hence, this is how you do. For character in, this is a sequence of values of characters in this case, instead of int, and you just go on. And this is the variable name, right? This is the variable. Okay, and you end with space, so it will print out this. Okay, if you look at this, if you try to use range for a string, you will have this string object cannot be interpreted as an integer. Okay, so it will not work. This will give you a syntax error because this is already a sequence of values. You cannot use the range function. Range is specifically used for integers also. So you cannot do that. It will give you the error. You can just do it simply using the string after in and then print it out. Let's do an example. Okay. So we can say name equals to Friday. Okay, the day's name. And then we can say for, okay, char, let's say C, the character or ch in, instead of using range when it's a string. Okay, when it's a string, you do not use range. You simply use the string name. Okay, print, and we want to print char, and maybe something like that. Okay, so, oh, okay.
You put the AR in.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Oops. Okay. Print CH and okay. So you can see, right? This is printing out each character, everybody. So you are not using the range function. And we can say and we can say and equal to this, and then it will just separate them with this, right? Okay, that's how you execute, you process each character. Okay, that's how you process each character. And when you process integers, you have to use the range function. But when it's a string, you simply put the string variable name there. Okay, that's what this is about. Let's see, specifying the steps. I already told you, we already did this, okay? So let's look at this example, okay? Let's look at this example. Sum, you declare that variable, initialize it to 0 for count in range. These are integers, right? So we use the range function. Starting from 2 inclusive, ending with 11 exclusive, and interval level is 2. So you will go from 2 to 4, 6, 8, 9, 8, 10. That's it. So the sum plus equal to, this is simply equal to, the sum is equal to the sum plus count, right? So count, it will be 2, and then 4, then 6, then 8, then 10. That's it. So this is how it runs. This is how you accumulate the sum. And when you print it out, it gives you this. Please look at this and see if you understand it. Since I explained it there already, have a look and see if you have questions about this. Okay, how about let's do an example, right? So if we say sum equals to 0, and then we do for I or x in range from 1 to 10 to 20, it really doesn't matter. And we want to add all the prime numbers. No, we cannot do that, right? We cannot specify the range for prime numbers. So we want to add all the odd numbers, and that would be an increment of 2, right? An interval of 2, all the odd numbers. So it would be 1, 3, 5, etc. Okay, and so what we want to do is we want to add x to sum, right? Sum plus x. And we assign that back to sum, right? This is how you understand it, right? You add them together first and then add it back. And each time sum is different. So what I will do is I will do, I will do this. So that's print out sum and x, so you know what it is each time. And then that's it, right? Okay. Okay, and then we print out afterwards, after, okay?
Error.
Yes?
Error. Print.
Who is that? Is that Omkar? Was that Omkar?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Okay, so this would be before, and you will see, thank you. Okay. Okay, let's run this and you will see, maybe because of this. Oh, I have another print here, that's why. Okay. Okay, so you see before your sum is 0, everybody, if you look at this, right? The first time sum is 0 and your x is 1. That's as expected. We started from 1, right? Okay, and afterwards, your sum becomes 1 because you are adding 1 to 0 and your x becomes 1. And then before you do the sum, your x is 1, that's correct. And your sum is, oh no, your sum is 1 and your x is 3. It's incremented by 2, right? And afterwards, your sum is 4. 1 plus 3 is 4, and your x is 3. I will let you have a look at this and see if you understand it, okay? So let's do exactly what that is. When you copy, that's what happens. Okay, I can copy this one. I'm just lazy. I didn't want to use the IDLE because each time you have to save. Okay, so look at this. Okay, and that is what is happening, right? 0 plus 2 and 2 plus 4 and the 6 plus 6 and the 20 plus 10, right? That gives you 30 afterwards. Okay. Do you have any questions, everybody? And this will show you how the loop works, actually, right? You see how it works. Okay, this is how it works. Before, this sum is this value, whatever that value is. And x is 2 because you started with 2. And then after you do this, after you use x becomes, afterwards, x becomes, x is still 2, right? Afterwards, x is still, next time though, your x becomes 4. In the next round, it becomes 4. Okay, so it goes from 2 to 4 to 6 to 8 to 10. Do you have any questions, everybody? Let's talk about the -2 again. Here is the thing. Our loop, okay, if you look at our loop, it always goes from low to high, right? And the interval is 2. So we go from low to high, the interval is positive because you're going up, right? But if you want to go down, your interval should be negative. That's basically what it is. So 4, you start from high and you want to go to 1, then you need to subtract. You need to go down. You need to decrement. You can do 1. Right? So it goes down. Because you are going from high to low, you need to count down. So every time you count down, you count from 20 minus 1, it becomes 19, minus 1 becomes 18. But if you go up, you start from low and you are going high. So you count up, you add 2 to it. So you go from 2 and then 4 and then 6, etc. Does that make sense, Macreen?
Yes, but what happens if you don't put the -1, but it's still 20 and then comma 1?
You see, that's a great
result in a runtime error.
Okay. Because you cannot go down without specifying how, right? Okay. Did I do something wrong? It just gives you that error? No.
Got the word in.
Not what? I'm sorry. Oh, in. I forgot in. Okay. Okay, print I. And it doesn't do anything because it doesn't know how to proceed going from 20 to 1 and I'm going up. It doesn't work. When I go up, it's 21. It will never reach 1. So you have to specify, you have to go down so that it knows. Okay.
So counting down always needs at least 3 arguments, correct?
Yes, if you want to go do the interval. Okay, if you don't want to do the default going up, you have to specify a 3rd argument. Yes. So you have 3 versions here, right? One version is 1 argument for the range function, and that will automatically start from 0 to the one before that argument. And then you have 2 arguments, and that is you start from the beginning to the end. So this is the 2 argument function, right? And then you have the 3 argument function, which is specify the interval. If you are going up, your interval is positive. If you are going down, your interval should be negative. Okay. Any other questions, everybody?
Can you help me find the syntax error? I tried to type in the same one you did with the sum.
Let's look at your code.
I can't find it.
I will let you. Yeah, that's good. Brandon said it. Yes, you are missing a comma here.
Oh, this here?
Yes.
Dang it. Okay, thanks, guys.
Okay. Any other questions, everybody? Okay, so this is the exercise we are talking about. This is the exercise in the book on page 70, number 4, right? Write a loop to print out the first 128 ASCII values, followed by the corresponding characters. So you will write out the value as well as the character. Yes, and the exercise tells you to do that. So for each in range 128, print each, which is the variable, that's the ASCII value. And the character, you simply convert that character, that value into a character. It's as simple as that. Once you know the logic, yes, that's correct. Okay, let's go to the very beginning, Brandon. So if you look at 0, doesn't have any character. So you can do it another way, right? And then 2, 3, those are all special characters. I think in the book, it says that. It says, be aware that most of the ASCII values in the range 0 to 31 belong to special control characters, such as enter key, control key, function key, etc. So you don't see anything. Okay, so if you go to, yeah, 48, that's where 0 starts. That's the digit 0, right? 42, and then if you go to 65, you can see that's where A starts. If you go to 97, you can see that's where lowercase a starts. And this is absolutely correct. Great work, Brandon. Very good. Let's look at the code again. Oh, that's fine. Okay, thank you, Brandon. That's correct. Anyone else who wants to share?
I'll share.
Okay. Okay, go ahead. Okay, well, we need to look at the code. Okay, okay, this is, I think this logically, this is correct. I think, Brandon, you forgot the 128. Yeah, for your run, it may have only run, I didn't pay attention to 127. So Omcar, scroll up the output. Yeah, this should include the 128. Yes. Okay. Okay. That's good. That's good. Very good. Very good. So the difference is you started from 0 and you end after 128, right? Very good. Everybody, that's correct. Okay. That's number 4, right? Okay. Good. Thank you, Omcar. Okay. Thank you. So now, did we do number 5? Did I ask you to do number 5? Everybody? So this is Macrine's. Macrine, move this window because we cannot see. We cannot see the code is down. Okay. For value in test string, so here it says assume the variable test string refers to a string. So you are using a string itself. That's fine as long as you understand it. I think the book says it should be a variable and you should give it value, but this works too. So print value, which is each individual character, and odd, the character's ordinal value. That's absolutely correct, everybody, right? If you look at it. Okay, very good, Macrine. Very good, correct. Anyone else? One more. One more, and then we will be done to record. So let's see. Test string. Well, okay, your test string is hello, right? You assign it up there. Once again, some of you are doing excellent work. I like the way you format your code, the way you put comments in, and you have a header file, which is very good. I like it. So for values in test string, which is a string variable, you assign hello to it above, and you print out the ASCII value for this value plus you concatenated the strings. Very good. Let's look at this concatenation, everybody. So she's converting value into the ASCII value, the character into an ordinal value, and then convert it to a string so that she can concatenate them together. Very, very good. Okay. We cannot see the whole thing though. Yes. Okay. So scroll that a little bit, the code, so that we can see the code. Code.
Yeah, hold on. Just trying.
You just click on the code window. It will. It should. Okay. Good. Everybody, look at this. This is great. It did more than I asked you to do. It's great. You are utilizing you're applying the string conversion, the conversion and the concatenation. This is very good. Okay. Okay, everybody, that's it. Thank you very much, the three of you, for sharing. Okay, everybody, any questions? Recording. An expression is different from a statement. A statement has a semicolon at the end. An expression is just an arithmetic expression, a Boolean expression, etc. You can plug it into a statement. That's why you cannot have a semicolon, and it's not an assignment statement. That's why if you look at my grading, you should see that. If you have an assignment statement, I take points off. Okay, when it says expression, it's an expression. Okay. Okay. Okay, everybody. So this is formatting text for output. Okay. So right now, when you output something, sometimes it's it's not formatted. Not sometimes, all the time, it's not formatted. For example, if I do 10 divided by 3, it's like that, right? So if you don't want to output all those 3s, you want to output simply 2 decimal places, you need to format it. And that's what this is about. So many data processing applications require output that has tabular format. So you need to format it. If you look at this one without formatting, okay, here, right? For the variable, the range function, the 2 arguments, 7 and 11, and you print out the exponent, which is 7 the first time, right? And then 8, 9, 10. And then 10 raised to the power of exponent. So 10 raised to 7, that's this. 10 raised to 8, raised to 9, raised to 10, right? To the power of 8, 7, 8, 9, or 10. So this is the output. It's not formatted. It looks okay, but not exactly formatted. It just lets it flow, right? It's ragged. The display is ragged. This and this is not aligned. Okay, so That's why we format our output, and this is how, okay? The format, to format a float, you will have the field width followed by a dot, followed by the precision, followed by F, which means float, okay? So let's see this one. The number is, okay, you must have this percentage, and this is the width. That's how many columns you want to have. And this is the decimal places you want to have. And this is telling the system it's a float. Okay, so this is called the formatting string. Okay, it's a formatting string, so it must be within the double quotes. And since here this is a string, you are putting them together, so double quotes within for this long string. And then you must use this percentage to connect the actual value you want to format. So 45.67889, that means you want to have the width of 10. And right now, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? But you want to have the width of 10. And this means this is positive. Well, we will talk about that later, but this is positive. It means it's right justified, right justified. Okay, so you will have 10 width of 10 and with 3 decimal places. This is width is 0. That means it will let it go, and 3 decimal places. Okay, so if you look at this, oh, I have this here. Width is 10, so this is only 2. So it has this space, right? Right justified because it's positive. And this is width is 0. It doesn't have anything. It's just naturally happens. And you have 3 decimal places, 3 decimal places. So that's how this works. And if you look at this salary, your salary is 100, even though you decide it's 0, 0, when you print it out, it's still just 1, 0. But if you format it, okay, your salary is, remember, this is the formatting string, everybody, okay? And here we don't have a formatting string. Here we have the formatting string. So width is 0, decimal place is 2, and we are saying this is a float, right? End quotes and percentage followed by the variable name. So when you print out, you have this 2 decimal places. That's how this works. Any questions? Let's look at more examples. Okay, look at this example. So let's look at this example. I do have the explanation. How about you read this explanation on your own? I want to point out that here I said that, oh, I did not, somehow I think I started here, right? I should, oh, this is correct. Okay, did I? Somehow I did not go through this slide. This is number 2, and this is where I explained D is for int, F is for float, and S is for string. So let's go through this one. Why did I skip this one? I have no idea. I skipped that one. Okay, look at this one. This is easier to understand, right? This is the formatting string. Your num is 340, and formatting string is 5, which means it's 5. The width is 5, and because it's positive, it's right justified. That means it goes to the right, aligned to the right. And it's an integer. D is an int. So when you print it out, right justified 5 width. Width is 5. Okay. For this one, this it's left justified. Okay. When you have the negative, it's left justified, and it's an int. And so this is left justified, and the width is 5. You don't see it here. And it's left justified, right? Okay, let's look at this one. This is left justified, and it's a float. So you're not formatting the decimal places at all. So, right, okay. And it's more than 5 digits, so it doesn't matter at all. You are not formatting it really, because you didn't specify the the decimal places. If you want to specify the decimal places, we discussed that here, right? That's why that's the third slide. Okay, now let's look at this. This is a string. So I'm just telling you this D is for integer, F is for float, and S is for string. So width is 30 and it's a string. So you see this is the empty space, right? It's positive, so it's right justified. And then I give you this, I wrote this and it's wrong. Why? Because I did not specify the type. So just negative 30 without the type. So it says it doesn't work. You have to specify the type because it's a string and you put S there. So this is left justified. Okay, so it goes to the very beginning. That's the difference between left justified and right justified. Okay, negative is left, positive is right. So we discussed this just now. And this one, I told you to read it. And so now let's look at this together. I want you to read it so that you have some idea. And then when I explain it, you will understand it better, right? This is the formatting string. Remember, it's a string. So you must place it in the quotation marks. Okay, so this is a formatting string. And let's understand it. This is, you must start with this. This is left justified, width is 3, it's an int. And so when you print exponent, the first value is 7. Left justified, and the width is 3, right? Okay. And then you continue. This is for the decimal, this is for the int also. This is for the second number. So 12, that's the width, and it's an int. And so for this one, you separate the two with a comma. So this string, format string, is for this value. This format string is for this value. If you have a third one, you must have a third argument, right? So this is 10 raised to the power of 7. And you see, this is what? Right justified. So it goes to the right. And the width is 12, right? Okay, that's that. And so you continue, and then 8, and then this is right justified because it's positive here, everybody. This is positive. So it's right justified, right justified, right justified. Okay, that's how you understand this. So so just remember, you always start the formatting string with this. Left justified, right justified. And you always have to specify the data type. Okay. And if you do a decimal place, you will use the dot. So with dot decimal places, number of decimal places, and put F there, which means it's a decimal number, it's a float. Any questions? Okay. So if we want to format 10 divided by 3 using formatting string, so we need to say how many decimal places we want. Okay, we want 2 decimal places. The formatting string, everybody always start with this, right? You start there. And then the width, what is the width? Let's say the width is 5, okay? And you want 2 decimal places. So 2, a decimal number, it's a float, so F, okay? And this is positive, so it will be right justified. That is the end of that string. And then you have to use this and give it the 10 divided by 3. I will just do that. Okay. So you can see it's the width is 5. There is only 4 digits, 4 characters. So you have an empty space right there because it's right justified, because this 5 is positive. and dot 2 decimal places, right? So you have 2 decimal places, and this is saying it is a float, okay? And so if you want it to be right justified, left justified, left justified, okay? And the formatting string is -5.3. Let's make it 3, okay? And that's it. And then you have to do this, put that there. Okay, so that's how you do this. Any questions? If you have a string, name equals to Smith, okay, and then you can print it out by saying name is, and the formatting string. The formatting string always starts with this ampersand percentage, okay, percentage, a sign, and this is a string. You want it to be right justified, then it will be positive, and we want the 10 spaces. The width is 10, okay, and the S. There is no decimal places, right? But it's a string, so you put S there, and followed by the string you want to format, name, okay? And so name is Smith. Do you have questions, everybody? No? Okay. If you don't have questions, so those are the exercises we did, right? If it's an int, then you will have no decimal places, right? You will just start with this, and right justified 5, width is 5D, that's for int. And followed by this. This is the syntax, everybody. You just have to remember that's how you speak to the computer. So number, let's give it 6, 7, 8. And this formatting doesn't make much sense. Oh, it makes some sense because I said 5 and this is only 3, so it's right justified, right? Okay. But if you make it left justified, if you want it to be left justified, you have to make it negative. Okay. Okay, that's the difference, everybody. Any questions? Okay, how about this? I want you to do these exercises. Let's do that.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Yes.
Not that. You go to options, I think. I remember last time I told everybody, you go to, yes, no, not Zoom, but Windows or options, I forgot. But anyway, so let's just leave it. I think everybody else can see except me because I'm the oldest one. So this is, okay, if I look at, so it says display pi right justified. So it should be positive width of 12.3. Okay, so 12.3 float. Yes, very good, very good. Thank you, Marilyn. You put the question there, right? Display pi left justified. So you put negative 12 with a width of 12 and 4 decimal places, 0.4 float. Yes, that's good. And then the next one is display 456 right justified. So you have 12 positive with a width of 12. Yes, very good. And then display the string hello right justified. So it should be positive with a width of 12. Hello. Yes, very good. That's absolutely correct. And thank you for putting the questions there so that I do not have to go back to look at the questions. Okay, everybody, this is absolutely correct. Very, very good. Okay, thank you, Marilyn, for sharing. And thank you, Omkar, for offering. Okay, so I think that's it for today. And we will do this next time. But it's basically, if you know how to do the previous 4, it's pretty easy. And this one is using a for loop. Okay, so I'm giving it one step further. I'm giving you an exercise that involves the for loop and formatting. So you're combining them, right? So are you all here still? Because I